evening, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Patriot Weekly. Great to have you along. Doug Amos along with the head coach of the Patriots, Granger Shook, and boy, big weeks come along, don't they? This is a huge one, Coach.
It is. This season has flown by. Already in week 9, our boys have played extremely hard, and we've really been playing well together and, culminating to this region championship week.
Patriots are 5-3, all 5 wins in region play, the 3 losses against very talented 7A schools. Looking back on it, you and I've talked about it for a few years now. Looking back on that, do you feel just as it did last year with Pike Road's postseason run that the schedule and all the preparation, playing the quality teams, has led you to being in a pretty good spot for tomorrow night?
I do like where we are. I do. It's a different team, but it is a very similar path we've taken. And so I do believe our non-region opponents have helped make us better and help prepare us for what we plan to have, a long playoff run here.
Before we talk about Russell County, and that's tomorrow night's opponent, and it's right there at Pike Road.
Yes.
And that's going to be a big game. We'll tell you all about that one a little bit later on. But right now, let's go back in time. This past week, you played Stanhope Elmore, I believe, correct?
Yes, sure did.
Let's talk about that and how that game went for you.
Man, really proud of how our team came out and played hard from, opening kickoff and, until the last buzzer at the end of the fourth quarter. I thought our staff had a really good plan. Hunter Adams and his staff had a good plan. They got an offense that we, really weren't ready for, and they really took almost the entire quarter up. But once our offense got the ball, we really just took off. It took us 2 plays and scored. Defensively, we were able to make some quick adjustments and got a quick 3 and out. And then we scored again on offense and really took control of the game from there.
Isn't that kind of a weird situation when you can't get off the field? Like maybe something's happening out there that you don't feel like you knew was there. And you told us after the game on the scoreboard show that practically the entire 12 minutes were gone and you're down 7-0. That's got to be an interesting situation, especially in that atmosphere there at their facility in Millville.
Yeah. I mean, I'm on the headset and it's 3rd down, and defense is tired because they've been out there for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And I'm like, guys, do we need to call a timeout? I'm like, no, let's just ride this out. And we were able to, get off the field with about, I'd say 75 seconds to go.
Wow.
But
down 7-0.
Down 7-0. But our offense was able to get in the end zone right before the first quarter ended.
And I think you scored 35 straight after that. I think won the game comfortably.
It was a great win. I thought Braden, who's here with us, junior offensive lineman, did a great job of establishing, the line of scrimmage with those other guys. And Ethan Holloway, our senior linebacker, he was able to help take charge of that defensive unit who got, multiple 3 and outs in a row and help us capture and keep momentum in a much needed region win.
No doubt. And we'll talk to Ethan about what was going on out on the field and how that was kind of a weird start to a game. He had a great game. Ethan will join us shortly, as will Braden. You talked about in one of the messages to me that you love the balance on offense of your team that it showed in Millbrook Friday night.
Absolutely. We were able to, get the ball in several guys' hands. I thought Levi on the second play of the game had a great trick play, a little jet pass to Amari Smith, who was able to get in the end zone a couple of times on Friday. We were able to get the ball to Elias, another young receiver who got in the end zone. Jamichael Jones had, I think, 4 touchdowns, 3 or 4 touchdowns on the ground. And so we were able to really spread the ball out on offense, which is great moving forward.
Let's talk about something here. So you've got your last region game against Russell County on Friday.
Yes.
Tomorrow night. Then you've got a non-region game to close out the regular season. Do the playoffs begin that following week, or is there a week off? Because I know sometimes you've had different thoughts about when your bye week needed to be, whether you wanted it mid-season to kind of regroup, or whether you wanted a week prior to the playoffs. So talk about your mentality.
Well, our bye week is next week, and so I
believe you do have a week between.
Between, yes. So
I got you.
So we play for the region championship, and then we have a bye week, and then we have senior night.
Gotcha.
And so, but right after senior night, the playoffs get going. And so I've never had this week 9, so to speak, bye week, but I've spoken to a lot of coaches who have. and I've kind of pieced together a plan that I think our team is going to respond well to. And so we are going to take some days off next week and just kind of, recharge the engine, so to speak. And
that's not dependent on the outcome of this game. That's the
Right.
plan regardless.
That is the plan regardless. And so as far as, the playoffs, we are hosting the first round. We, of course, our goal is to host the first round as region champs. And, I know it's going to be a great test this Friday, but regardless, we are going to take a couple of days off on the bye week and let our staff decompress, let our players, kind of decompress a little bit, and then get back into our game week against Charles Henderson and get ready for a home playoff game the following week.
We'll tell you a little bit why it's important to win the region. Obviously, the first two teams of each region host games. The third and fourth place teams travel. But if you are the region champ, no way any team in your region, regardless of how much they've traveled or not, can host you.
That's right.
You get to host them regardless. You could have been at home every week.
Yep.
They could have traveled all 3 weeks or whatever, and they still got to come to your place. That's a relatively new rule.
Yep.
And a good one, I think.
I agree. I mean, there's got to be some reward for winning your region, especially the head-to-head matchups. And so, yes, that is a rule, and hopefully, we'll be able to take advantage of that here in a few weeks. But again, I'm excited that the opportunity our boys have. I talked to them this week about not taking this week for granted. You know what I mean? There's a lot of teams really practicing this week for Friday, but there's very few that are practicing for a region championship. And there's just a few teams that are practicing to host a playoff game, and that's something that I don't want our boys to take for granted, because it takes a lot of hard work and dedication to do that.
Granger, talk if you would, specifically, generically, however you want to address it, just about the progress you feel this team has made this football season. I know you opened up against Prattville. That probably seems like a light year ago. And I believe you played that game in Wetumpka.
We did.
Where Prattville's playing their home games. You fell short in that one. But coming out of that game, if you can recollect, what are the things you knew this team needed to do better, and have you seen that development in this football team?
Well, we actually have a great resource that we've referenced on this show numerous times, and Patriot Quinn. He's a local pastor here in town, and he invests into these young men countless hours, and he comes and speaks to us weekly. And he was blunt with us, yesterday. He said, guys, I'm going to be honest with you. We were a very immature football team early in the year. And he and I have spoken almost daily about the maturation process and how we've seen our boys grow, not only individually but together. And early in the year, not only were we losing the turnover battle, but we were losing the penalty battle. And knock on wood, we haven't lost those two battles in quite some time. And so those two battles in and of itself determine more football games than any other battle on Friday night. And so I feel quite good that if we can continue to win those two battles, the turnover and the penalty battle, that not only does that show us growing and maturing as a team and making good decisions and showing more discipline and being able to be coached and take adjustments on the sideline, it also will be a great indicator of how far we can go in the playoffs.
As you can tell, we are broadcasting tonight from Brantley Bank with our dear friend Ray Kaiser. He's hosting us again. I think it's about the 4th time.
It is.
We love being here with him, and he's a gracious host and, most importantly, a gracious supporter of your football program and of Patriot Weekly.
Yes, very, very grateful for Ray and his crew at Brantley Bank. We talk to our players all the time about this community investing in us. Even if they don't know us specifically or individually, they are proud of Pike Road, and they're proud of Pike Road football, and just making sure that we show gratitude to the community that supports us.
The bank's got a little fall decorations going on there. It looks pretty
love
good. A lot of hay over there, and it's hey, look at us going on in
I'm
Pike
ask
Road.
Ray if he's the artist behind this.
I'm going to go and answer that and say no. I'm pretty sure I'm correct. I'm going to step out on a limb. But hey, the town of Pike Road's got the Hey Look at Us competition.
Yes.
On Monday, my show will be broadcast from right down there at Town Hall.
Yes.
And we'll be announcing the winners. You've seen all the hay
I
bales
do.
around, right?
My neighborhood has a
one?
pretty good hay bale. So
And I'll go ahead and
shameless
answer.
plug.
I'll go ahead and answer the question that you're wondering about. No, Granger did not help with that hay bale. Okay, that didn't happen.
Yes.
But listen, it's a fun time in Pike Road, right?
It is.
You felt it just in the 2 short years you've been here.
Right.
This is a strong community.
Yes.
It's still a school that has a great tradition and history, but in its infancy, in its return.
That's right.
And this football program's done some special things, and you can't do the special things that Pike Road football has accomplished without a community, a business community, just a community of people, unless you've got their full support.
There's no doubt. I mean, there are extremely high expectations at Pike Road, which is one of the reasons why I wanted to be here. But there's great support, and so I don't believe that you can have like you said, the success that this community's had in such a short time without the support and the foundation that this community's helping.
You and I will talk a little bit later on about Russell County. That's a team that Pike Road plays Friday night. It's a team that perhaps is one of, if not the most improved teams that
Absolutely.
we've seen. I saw them early against Wetumpka and felt like Wetumpka would win that game, but Russell County found a way to win, and I think they're getting better and better and better.
They are.
We'll talk about it a little bit later on in the program. We're excited, though, when we get back, we're going to talk to some of these guys that are here to talk Pike Road football. Ethan Holloway, a senior linebacker, will join us. Had a big game on Friday night against Stanhope Elmore. And then Braden Watkins, one of the offensive linemen that probably has to be as cohesive as any position group you got to have success on the offensive side of the ball. But Ethan's up first. He's the senior. We go with the older dudes first, and we'll talk about the Pike Road defense when we return right after this. We're at Brantley Bank for this week's edition of Patriot Weekly. Patriot Weekly, Doug Amos along with Ethan Holloway. How about 11 total tackles for this guy Friday night against Stanhope? 7 solo stops. Those are some pretty good numbers, Ethan. How you doing, man?
I'm feeling good. How are you?
It's great to see you. I'll ask you a point-blank question that I asked Coach about. When you walked off the field against Prattville and Wetumpka in that loss in week 1, how do you feel this team has developed and grown as we're heading into week 9?
Man, we've grown a lot. I feel like as far as just defensive and offensively, we just grown off our mistakes. And, those first few games against 7A teams, it was just very undisciplined football as far as, special teams. And throughout the weeks of just losses and wins, we've just grown stronger as not only just like a football team, but as brothers.
What about what Coach Shook said about what Patrick said to you guys? That it seems that this team has also grown maturity-wise.
Yes, sir.
And that's more talking about mistakes on the field and being mature football players. Probably he's referencing about how some of you guys have grown just in your everyday life, but talk about that if you would.
Yeah, first few weeks, I feel like as a team, there's a lot of separation within the guys. And as we, invested into what Coach Shook and the whole staff has put into us, we've been able to get closer and depend on each other. And it's just not a one-man team, it's an 11-man team. We all have to depend on each other, do our job, and just read our keys, stay disciplined, and just do what we need to do and execute.
Ethan, what was it like in that first drive with Stanhope? Apparently they were doing some stuff that caught you off guard a little bit. I think it's wonderful that the staff didn't panic. They knew y'all would be able to fix it when you could. But just talk about that and how this defense grew into not letting that affect the rest of the game, but getting it done from that point forward.
Yes, sir. The first half, it was rough. As a defense, we came out prepared, ready to hit, but I feel like Stanhope, their whole line, and just their whole offense in general was just ready and physical. I know there's a lot of tweaks. Being able to take coaching from the sideline is huge as far as just a high school team. Not a lot of teams can brag about that. our linemen as linebackers, we were way too loose. We were playing it kind of like Rehoboth. Rehoboth, they ran the same thing, but their plays are a lot slower developing,
Sure.
misdirection, and we were thinking about the same stuff. And when you go and the defense is a lot looser, we're already giving them 3 yards down the line.
Right.
And it's hard to tweak that.
So, Ethan, now here we are, region championship, Friday night. It's where every team wants to be in high school. You want to have on your own racket a chance to win the title in your backyard. It's perfect for you guys setting up. Talk about, as a senior, the discussion in the locker room this week, realizing that this is of utmost importance to play well tomorrow night.
Man, for a lot of our guys, this is our last region game, and it just banks a lot on the seniors, and just as a team in general, we have to come out here with an urgency and intent to beat them. We have to do our job. We know that we can beat them. It's all about us. We just have to execute the game plan that coaches have given to us. It's just really just what we need to do and just execute to win the region championship.
The neat thing is, Coach Shook and his staff and this team, you were on this team last year as well.
Yes, sir.
This would be 2 straight years with the win tomorrow night of a perfect slate in region play. The only games that have been dropped by Pike Road during the regular season have been games really against teams that are a class up or in a class in another state. That's been real good. So you guys feel tested, you feel prepared because of the schedule you played, just like we talked to Coach.
Of course.
It's important.
It is very important. Playing these hard teams have definitely prepared us for what we're doing right now. We know what to expect. We've been in fourth quarter battles, and we just got to execute our plan.
What did you see in any tape you got to look at with Russell County? What do they have?
They're very pass-oriented, upwards to 70% passing. So we just got to eliminate the pass, allow them to run, and just, stop them. We'll have a good night.
You know what I'm thinking? I'll talk to Coach Shook about it. If you got a pass-oriented team, one of the things you certainly want to do is put pressure on the quarterback, right? It's amazing how a quarterback under pressure isn't near as good as a quarterback that's sitting back there counting ducks in the water. So, hey man, good luck tomorrow night. Always good to see you.
Yes, sir.
That is my buddy Ethan Holloway, a senior linebacker. Again, 11 stops against Stanhope Elmore. Let's get 12 tomorrow night, okay? Let's get 12. Well, let's go with 8 solos and 4. It's good to see you. When we get back, we'll talk a little offensive line with Braden Watkins. He's one of the guys that have kept this thing together. You heard me mention to Coach Shook, there's really not a position group that needs to more play together and be on the same page any more than that O-line, and we'll talk to Braden about it when we return right after this on Patriot Weekly.
Hey, Pike Road community. My name is Patrick Quinn. I'm pastor at Century Church and also had the opportunity to be the chaplain for 5 years at Pike Road football. And I'm here with Coach Shook, and we are at Froggy Bottom. Chris Lashley's hosting this event that's coming up. And I want to invite you, the Pike Road community, to mark your calendars for October 25th. We want you to come out. We want you to support the Pike Road Quarterback Club and get ready for an amazing event. Hey, Coach, tell us a little bit about it.
Well, October 25th, we're going to have a fundraiser. It's not a drawdown. And so we're going to have, you're going to have an opportunity to purchase tickets for $100 for a chance to earn $10,000 in cash prizes. And so in order to do that, the game of skill is tossing a beanbag into the cornhole board. And so we have Chris has donated his boards and his bags. It's going to be a great event. While that's going on, there's live music, there's inflatables, there's food trucks, there's going to be options for people of all ages to have a great event on October 25th.
So it's like a fall festival atmosphere is what that sounds like out
Yes,
here.
absolutely.
We want you to come to Froggy Bottom October 25th. Like he said, there's going to be a fundraiser. We want to raise money for the Pike Road football team. We want to be able to mingle with those guys out here. So come out with your kids. The football team will be here, many of them, and we'll have a lot of fun, food, inflatables. We'll have a fundraiser, and it's all going to support these kids and support the program. So make sure you mark your calendars October 25th, and we hope to see you there.
All right, welcome back to Patriot Weekly, everybody. We're going to talk to the big offensive lineman now. He's Braden Watkins. He's a junior, and obviously with a balanced attack in the win over Stanhope this past week. Good rushing night for the Patriots. Good passing night for the Patriots. You heard what I said prior to you joining me. What about the offensive line and the communication? That's kind of a big deal, isn't
Oh,
it?
yes, sir, it is. It's a very big deal to communicate, all the different fronts the defense is running. You don't know if they're going to run a stunt or anything else, or if they pull somebody up, linebackers blitzing, you don't know. So we always got to make sure we're telling everybody where to go, or like just say a word that lets the lineman know what he's supposed to do so we don't mess up the play.
And the thing is, Braden, one fail, all fail with an offensive line,
Yes, sir.
right? You guys got to get it going together. Talk about the development of that through the year, from week 1 to now week 9.
Yes, sir. The development through the offensive line is definitely we've matured as an offensive line. Coach Atkins is always pushing us to be the best we can. We're always doing drills. We're always, pushing ourselves to the limit. We're just trying to get the team rolling because, you can't be great without a great offensive line. And we're just really pushing our hardest, and we've really pushed hard throughout the season, and it's really been showing.
When you have quality running backs like Pike Road
yes, sir.
has, it's got to encourage you and get y'all fired up, knowing that if you do your job, if you do what the play's designed to do, that you got a dude back there that's going to make a play.
Oh, yes, sir.
That's a big thing. Obviously, 200 yards passing in the game as well. You like to run block or pass block better?
Oh, I love run blocking. I just love getting physical. I mean, run blocking is just where the game is played when you're an offensive lineman. That's how you can get physical, and that's why I love to run block.
I've often heard, and we'll ask Coach Shook about it, I think he'd agree, the closer you are to the football, the more important you are to the game.
Oh, yes,
and
sir.
that means the offensive line and the guys up front against the defensive line, you control that part of the game and you can get it done. All right, what do you know about Russell County? What have you seen? Huge game Friday night
Yes,
for the
sir.
region title.
Yes, sir. We've seen a lot of different fronts. They like to run a bunch of different stuff. They love to pull down the linebackers, try to make the offensive line off guard. But Coach Atkins and Coach JC have just been, preaching all this week of what we need to do, how we can check it, and all that kind of thing. And I think we really got it down this week.
Braden, on the show this year, we've had a lot of seniors that have come on here. Ethan, another one tonight. As an underclassman, as a junior that's got one more year, talk about the leadership of the senior class for you guys this year and what perhaps you'll take into that role next year.
Oh, yes, sir. The senior class this year are definitely big leaders. I'm definitely excited for next year to step up into that leadership role and be a leader because, all the offensive linemen except for me are seniors. And so that means I'm going to have to step up and be a leader on the offensive lineman for all the underclassmen that are going to be coming up next year.
You got some young guys that
Yes,
are
sir.
ready to step in?
Yes, sir.
That's good. That's good.
And I'm just very excited to be a part of that leadership role next year.
So obviously a great opportunity for this team. You get a win tomorrow night. You then have a week. Don't say off. Don't find yourself saying week off around Coach Shook. That will not go well. A bye week before you play your last regular season game, and then you hop right into the playoffs. So it seems like tomorrow night is the focus, and it's the way it should be. Week 9, the game should mean a lot more than they do in week 1, and that's kind of where you guys are at.
Yes, sir. It definitely means a lot. Definitely means a lot to play for a region championship. Definitely means a lot to host at home in the playoffs. And I'm just very excited. I know our team's excited for that moment.
Hey, good luck.
Yes, sir.
Braden Watkins, junior offensive lineman. We'll wrap it up with Coach Shook right after this on Patriot Weekly. Welcome back to Patriot Weekly as we head for home now. Huge game Friday night, Coach, at your place. Tell everybody how they can get out and support your team.
Man, come out early. We're actually trying to do a little something for our students. The first 50 or so students that show up, we'll have a little surprise for them. It's going to be a blackout, so our players are wearing their black uniforms, and so I expect to be a great environment, not only for our students, but for our parents and fans. Again, there's not a lot of championship games in Montgomery or in the Pike Road area tomorrow night, so it should be a great contest to come and be a part of.
You know me, I like to dig in. I'm a reporter. I spent my whole career doing it. Does the surprise involve a T-shirt?
Possibly.
Possibly. Not definitely,
Possibly.
but possibly. There you go.
Possibly.
We'll blackout. Figured that out right like that.
You can read a room.
Talk about Russell County and
Man.
their improvement
Yes.
and the job that they're getting done over there.
Dylan Griggs and I have worked together actually back at Prattville. He's always been a very creative coach, offensive mind. He's done an excellent job. He's worked for some really good, successful coaches. He was at Central Phoenix with Jamie DeBose when they were really successful. So I'm not surprised at all in the growth and development of his program, especially offense. There's actually another Huntington guy.
Yep.
And so Matt and I have worked together, helped, he was at Prattville too when I was there. So again, this is going to be a great contest. It's going to be a 6A, 4-quarter, battle. And again, I'm just excited our boys get an opportunity to play tomorrow night in that environment. It's why you play at Pike Road and just, duel it out. So it's going to be a 4-quarter battle that, is going to come down to the wire, I believe.
Pike Road, Russell County, tomorrow night. We hope that you will be there. You can get your ticket at gofan.com or buy it at the gate. It's for the region title. Coach, good luck.
Thank you, Doug. Appreciate you, man.
It's going to do it for Patriot Weekly. We'll do it again. I don't know if we'll do it next week. Might wait a week. That's up to him, not me. But we'll be back with you soon for another edition of Patriot Weekly.